Welcome back to the Traders Network Show, broadcasting worldwide from Greenwich, Connecticut. I'm Matt Bird. We're here at the Greenwich Economic Open, continuing our coverage on day 2. My next guest needs very little introduction on the world economic scene. He is the former CEO of PIMCO and senior advisor to Gramercy Funds Management. He's Dr. Mohamed El-Erian. Doctor, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Matt. Pleasure to be here and an honor.
The honor is actually mine. You just delivered a prolific speech out on stage. Can you tell our audience a little bit about some of your key takeaways from your panel session?
So I think the hardest thing today is how do you balance a brighter short-term horizon with an unusually uncertain longer-term one? We're not used to having that. Normally, the short-term is uncertain, but the long-term, there's some clear trends. Today is an upside-down world, and you have this notion of radical uncertainty. It's not just uncertain, it's uncertain squared. So how do you deal with that? And how do you avoid paralysis? And how do you embrace this more uncertain world and try and navigate it well?
You know, it's a very sophisticated, very high class, a problem to try to grasp. Can you help us boil it down to a very simple?
So in our daily lives, okay, we follow certain rules because 99% of the time we do that, we know what the outcome is going to be.
Correct.
You cross at a green light.
Yes.
You know what the outcome is going to be.
Yes.
Right? You know when you go to Starbucks, what sort of coffee you're going to get. The world we're going towards is that there are no rules governing green lights and red lights. Starbucks may or may not have your coffee, and you don't know. Right? It's a world of questionable globalization, for example. Right? Political extremes are gaining much more traction than the political center.
Yes.
Brexit, a decision to dismantle something without clarity what you're going to build instead. So if you think of it like you can no longer simply assume that the past is a good indicator of the future. And what does that do to us in our personal lives? It tends to paralyze us. We end up simply doing the same thing when we should be thinking differently. And the answer is think differently. And I think that's the key. Now, we do it as humans when you go through, unfortunately, a big negative shock. We have to react, we have to think differently, we're taken out of our comfort zone. But it's much better to plan for it than to have to react.
Well said. You know, speaking of thinking differently, we're here at a forum. We have some amazing world leaders on the economic side. We've had yesterday there was the governor and the mayor of Greenwich and the governor of Connecticut that was here. How important are public-private partnerships to get the message out, both from an economic development standpoint and an impact standpoint?
So they're not just important, they're absolutely crucial. You cannot solve most of the problems facing the world without public-private partnerships. You just have to have smart public-private partnerships. Whether it's climate change, whether it is investing in technology that empowers the less fortunate segments of society, giving opportunity, labor retraining, labor retooling, all the things we know we need, infrastructure. You can't get there without private-public partnerships. So it's absolutely crucial. And I think that the next stage, now that we've got this growing awareness of how crucial it is, not just important, but crucial, is how do you design them in a way that's acceptable to all the stakeholders involved. And I think we're starting to make progress towards that. And you see it at the global level with the Sustainable Development Goals, and you see it also at the national and certainly at the municipal and local levels.
You know, private companies being, I think, the execution mechanism, the delivery mechanism for the potential outcome, and the public side providing the general direction and the framework, I think is a very balanced equation, because corporations, from all intents and purposes, need to follow through.
Yeah, I mean, and there's been a complete change in how corporations think. In the old days, you were a house, and what happened to the neighborhood wasn't your issue. The government would take care of that issue. Now, people realize you cannot be a good house in a bad neighborhood. You have to have some stake in the neighborhood. You have to take some responsibility for the neighborhood, and you have to work with others to make sure that that neighborhood improves. And I think that understanding that you cannot be a good house in an uncertain neighborhood is what's driving people towards greater attention to public-private partnership and towards greater social responsibility.
I love it. Well said. I know you're pressed for time and you're being pulled up a few different directions. I got one last question. What's next for you?
So as of October next year, I have the privilege of heading a Cambridge college. So I've been elected the incoming president of a Cambridge college. For me, it's a wonderful return to academia, and I'm really excited. And the good news is that I can maintain some of my other activities at a lower level, but I can maintain them. So I'm really looking forward to that.
Congratulations, Doctor.
Thank you very much, Matt.
Thank you very much. You're watching the Traders Network show. Thanks so much for your time. We'll be right back after these messages. Special thanks to our affiliate partners, ABC, NBC, Fox, and CBS. Don't go away, we'll be right back.
The 2019 Greenwich Economic Forum is brought to you by Bridgewater Associates. Meaningful work, meaningful relationships. Churchill Asset Management, Nuveen, a leading provider of senior and unitranche debt to middle market companies. Ropes & Gray, bright past, brilliant future. Aurora Capital, inspiring partnerships. And Gramercy Funds Management, we are emerging markets. Special considerations to Bank of America, life's better when we're connected. Noah Private Wealth Management, a leading wealth and asset management service provider in China. Guotai Jinan Futures, a leading brokerage firm for commodity futures and financial futures in China. China Industrial Securities, a comprehensive financial group providing full-spectrum financial services in Hong Kong. And Titan Advisors, built like a hedge fund. Special thanks to the Financial Times and Greenwich Business Institute for hosting us. And thank you to all the sponsors who helped make this event possible. We'll be right back after these messages. Don't go away.